I had a long day, so it's only audio only tonight to talk about the past 2 days in the Big Brother house, although it's kind of on repeat, where they will make a decision and flip-flop off and on all week. We've seen this entire game. Once there's two nominees on the block, they start flip-flopping the target, though they usually go with the original target. Maybe this week will be different, and if it is different, well, they're kind of going to look dumb again to me. Jag was put up via Jared after they talked him into being on the block. Blue, his supposed strongest ally in the house, volunteered him for said block. Blue continues to be an odd one. I've kind of given her some praise now that she's actually started playing the game, but she has a long way to go because she still makes some head-scratching decisions. But with Jag now on the block against Red, it was starting to look like it was going to be Jag going home back-to-back weeks because Jag continues to be a very awful player overall. I've talked about him coming back into the game, doing too much, looking very sketchy to the people that saved him. And even though he's in this fake alliance, he could have just laid low this week. He got saved. He comes back in the house. He wasn't the target, but he talks himself in to being the target. And over the weekend, I talked some crap about Cirie's strategy once again, and I still stick by that if her target is Red, it is actually very dumb of her. But on Sunday and yesterday, Cirie's game, she cleaned up a lot of her messes. And what Cirie does fantastic, of course, other than her misting the entire house to be BFFs with her and listening to her, and she kind of makes the last decision every single week on who goes home. But what she also does very well is throwing people under the bus to certain people. Her and Felicia have had a falling out. They are kind of turning against each other. I would say Felicia's been annoyed with Cirie as well. I think Felicia's annoyed that a lot of people listen to Cirie over her, and I hope that beef continues. Felicia's target's growing, that she's going to be one of the next couple of people out. The way she's been acting with people, way too bold. This is still a social game at heart. And she talks a little too much shit to people's faces. But also, she just tells too much people too much information. Much like the Gen Zers I've been giving crap to this entire game, Felicia has been doing a lot of that same stuff where she is giving too much information and pissing off her own allies while doing so. So Felicia has a lot to blame for her own target growing. Plus, when she told Jared about her final 2 deal with Cirie and tried to make one with him, and he ratted her out to Cirie. So, Felicia's been doing a lot in that regard, although the Jared hiccup, not completely her fault because of the Jared and Cirie twist. Now, another thing she does good, Cirie that is turning certain people against each other, like Corey and Felicia. They already are, kind of obviously targeting each other, but she is stoking the fire of both of them, kind of having targets on each other. And I think she would like to do the same to America, that if one day they are going to go against Cirie's minions, that they don't target Cirie herself and they target somebody like Felicia, maybe even Izzy eventually. And Cirie's just good at just gaining allies, having Matt as a number. I liked when she had Matt in on the talks with Jag, when she was trying to point out to Jag all the mistakes he was making once he came back in the game. So she, as much as I hate how her paranoia runs her game many days in this house, she tends to come back around to logic in the end. It's just that before she gets back to the end game of logic, she plays a very messy game. Luckily for Cirie, she is surrounded by a lot of other very messy players, so it does work out for her in the end. But Red made the mistake today, and it's Red's birthday today, And I like that they surprised him with breakfast in bed, the ladies did. And he was very thankful, crying happy tears. I've talked about in this past week how he said he's never had a good birthday in his life, and that's why he was upset that he was going on the block. So it was nice to see Red surprised, see the human side of Red when he's usually kind of being a caricature, especially on the episodes, but even sometimes in the house, in my opinion. I've never disliked Red this game. I know a lot of people have been giving some crap to Red. Just every straight guy in the house in general. That's something I wanted to talk about if I was going to do this longer, but I'll have to save that for another day because it is starting to really annoy me on social media. But that's a story for another day. But Red, it's his birthday. They're trying to give him a good birthday. But unfortunately for Red, on his birthday, when he is trying to get Jared to mediate a conversation between him and Cam, for him and Cam to get back on the same page, well, of course, that sends people like Izzy and Cirie spiraling that those two are going to be a duo again, and kind of playing into Corey's hands here, which is what Corey has been saying this week of why Red should be the target. Red kind of playing into that now, and it seems like the target is now flipping on to Red, and Izzy's kind of a big part of that. Something I need to start giving Corey credit for is that he has consistently worked on his relationship with Izzy, and sometimes he definitely gets through to Izzy with his ideas, and that is kind of what sends Izzy second guessing. Now, of course, Izzy will then usually go to Cirie, and then Cirie will change Izzy's mind to whatever Cirie wants Izzy's mind to think. So I have to give Corey credit for that. Working on that relationship with Izzy, I think, is going to be a very big tool in his toolbox in the game he's trying to build. I still think Corey lacks a whole lot of finesse, and even more lacking of a social game. He has a hard road cut out for him, but he is still trying, still playing every day. So credit to Corey on that. So yeah, right now the target is shifting back onto Red. Matt kind of threw Jag under the bus to Jared earlier today about Jag trying to work with people against Cirie and Felicia, who Matt seems to be most in with. He wants it to kind of be him, Jared, Cirie, and Felicia. That seems to be Matt's ideal Final Four. They went over that with Jared. That did not seem to sway Jared's mind, although Jared does have a lot of distrust for Jag. Jared and Blue having a conversation today about Jag and his distrust for Jag, and if Blue would let go of Jag right now. But now that the target has switched to Red, Jared he did tell Blue that, Red is still the target. It's the thing that annoys me most about the flip-flopping is that when they start flip-flopping, they immediately jump at it and they start telling people about the changed plans. And then usually what happens is they flip again and they have to tell the same people that they changed their minds once again. It's so messy that if this was a house with bigger brains, Cirie's target would be gigantic right now because it always falls back to Cirie. And yeah, people do see her for what she is, and then she missed them. She's even missed Cameron pretty good these past couple of days when Cameron was starting to talk about her huge target. Although I think Cameron will still think she has a huge target. It's just a matter of who and when will take a shot at that huge target, and will they even have the numbers to get her out at that point? That's going to be the interesting part of the season. But yeah, she's good at misting people, but still, how messy that she becomes before she comes to a logical conclusion it doesn't speak well of the cast. If they had bigger brains, then they should be able to really, tune in on that, but they don't. I will say, though, if Red does go this week, it's just, once again, Cirie being another player this season, making the game harder for herself. But Cirie, too, is going after somebody who I think would be more loyal to her in the long run, than almost anyone in this game besides Izzy and Jared. It would then be Red, in my opinion. But if she's going to get rid of Red, then she's making her long-term game harder. So I do think that is 100% the wrong move for Cirie. But she seems to have fallen prey once again to her paranoia. But we do still have 2 more friggin' days until the eviction. So I'm sure there will be much more flip-flopping. Yay for us, right?